Once again, I'm meteorologist Cloninger here in the Weather Center at Local 4. We continue to follow this extreme severe weather that we're seeing across Custer County right now.
Pretty extensive damage
here. Notice we still have this band of heavier snow. Forecast is looking promising. We've got fairly good conditions. So if you are in Cozad, you've been watching us for the last little bit, we've told you that this threat is on the way. Now it's nearly an imminent threat. Already 1 to 3 inches of snow across the I-80 corridor all the way out to the Lincoln area. So your Monday morning commute is going to be impacted by this. Up to 76 miles per hour earlier today in Ord, up to 61 in parts of the Tri-Cities as well. And still those winds are high, causing some ground blizzard conditions. The wind right now is at my back around 40 miles per hour. I just had a gust probably upwards of 50 miles per hour just before you tossed to me. This is a point of concern as we're looking at these purple colors here. Those are winds in excess of 70 miles per hour. We have the color table set up like that so we can see whenever we have clusters of extreme winds, and that's exactly what we have here. Even a brief eye beginning to form with that storm. It's still a little bit sloppy, but it's got a lot of very warm ocean here in the Gulf. So I think in the spirit of having fun at work, the best way I can do that is to jump right here into this. So Cal, go ahead and give a good zoom in here because I'm going to just tip right back in here. Nice little smack. Okay. I really thought I was going to sink a lot more.
Your Grand Island, Hastings, and Kearney local forecast with meteorologist Cloninger.
Well, we had some clouds throughout the day, but overall it was a pretty nice afternoon here around the Tri-Cities area. We had a little bit more sunshine and less wind today. Yesterday was very breezy. Early this morning we had winds gusting upwards of 40 miles an hour. As the cold front passed through the area, it actually started to bring in some calmer winds and some cooler air. Now, we were behind the front, but still warmed up into the 60s today. The cooler air is going to be sinking in overnight tonight, and then we've got the clouds that are going to come in tonight, along with all the rain. So that's going to keep us cool tomorrow. But this front system that's going to be draped sort of across southeastern Nebraska, this front is going to stall out here in the next 6 hours or so, turn into a stationary front as this low pressure system spins up through Kansas and starts to bring in a lot of rain towards us once again. We just had a lot of rain last weekend. Now we're gearing up for a little bit more. And we're already starting to see the rain coming into the stage. It's this little streamer of moisture out ahead of the larger system with southeastern Nebraska or southwestern Nebraska already getting a little bit of light rain. Let's take a look through Futurecast, though. There's a couple of things I want to mention about this. We've seen some models focusing mostly on eastern Nebraska. But with the systems we've had recently, a lot of them have been very slow, and the models have actually pushed them out of the area too quickly. This is the only model that's sort of lagging behind the others. It's one of our lower resolution models, but I think this one is going to be the best case of what's going to actually happen. So Monday morning, we start to see some of that more moderate to heavy rain across southern, southeastern Nebraska coming into the area, and then it's going to start to spread north. Now, notice we've got just a little bit of some mixed precip maybe. I think this is modeling it just a bit too cold, but we'll see how that pans out. But notice how most of western Nebraska stays dry. Eastern Nebraska is where all the moisture is coming in. So this is early on Tuesday morning. We still see the system coming up through Kansas. That low pressure, the center of low pressure is going to be tracking through Kansas into Missouri, into Iowa. It's sort of pulling back a lot of moisture on the backside of this, wrapping back around, and that's what's going to bring more of the moisture to the west. So this is what I'm thinking is going to be a little different than some other models are showing, which have it being more progressive, moving east more quickly, rather than stalling out and lagging behind, bringing us more moisture. So that's good news for some of our western communities. Other models bring the 1 inch of rain precipitation line instead of around Highway 183, bring it closer to the Highway 281 corridor. So keeping the heavy rain towards the east rather than towards the west where we could really use it since this place is still in the drought. So here around the Tri-Cities, maybe 1.5 to 2.5 inches range according to this model versus maybe 2 to 3 inches across parts of southeastern Nebraska, a little heavier there in northern Kansas. But notice Imperial only getting a trace of rain and about 3/4 of an inch from McCook. So still not enough for the places that really need it here, still in the severe level drought. But last weekend, since we had over 5 inches between Grand Island and Hastings, it pulled us completely out of the drought we were in. So we're getting more rain that we don't necessarily need, but certainly is good to just have it at least. Looking at our temperatures overnight tonight, or right now we're already in the 40s. We're going to drop back into the low 40s, upper 30s range, a little bit cooler farther west you go. Then tomorrow, since we've got all the rain coming through, that's going to keep us cooler. Where we see the rain coming in later, we're actually going to warm up more quickly before the rain comes into some of our northern hometowns there. The 7-day forecast, the rain is going to be lasting all the way until Tuesday night. Wednesday, we start to clear things out, but the cool air sticks around all the way into Thursday. Then we start to warm back up into the weekend. You might have another chance for some rain by the end of the week there, Alicia, but looks like we'll be getting back close to the 60s by the end of the week. This satellite imagery shows the storm growing and remaining over the same spot for 3 hours. As a tornado warning was issued, a report came in of a tornado, then another, and another.
Houses have been leveled. People are trapped in basements.
Ordinarily, tornadoes move with a general forward motion, but this family of tornadoes remained over Grand Island, with many of their paths looping back on themselves and crossing one another. Direction didn't matter, however. Things are going to continue to get worse as the snow is still coming down right now, and it's going to continue to pile up here over the next several hours today. It's going to be pretty deep in some spots too, so we'll be covering that and showing you the weather through the morning today. But for now, I'm meteorologist Cloninger live in Grand Island. We'll go ahead and send it back into the studio.